Have you ever just wished there was a manual for life? A real guide on how to be a good person, a better leader, how to build a better world? Well, believe it or not, someone actually wrote one. And they did it over 2,500 years ago.
I mean, it's the question, right? We all ask ourselves that. Especially today, in a world that's so noisy, with so much conflicting advice coming at us from everywhere, we're all just searching for a solid path, something that leads to real meaning. And this is where Confucius comes in. His answer, captured in this amazing collection of sayings called the Analects, is so brilliant because it's not some lofty abstract theory. It's a practical blueprint. It says, hey, you want a better world? It doesn't start with some huge grand plan. It starts with you, right here, right now, with the quiet work you do on yourself every single day.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the man himself, then dig into the real root of his ideas about goodness. From there, we'll see what it takes to become what he called the superior person, how that applies to leading an entire nation, and finally, what all of this means for us today.
So first up, who was this guy, Confucius? Well, instead of just giving you a bunch of dry historical dates, I think it's way more interesting to see how he saw his own life. He laid it out as this incredible journey of lifelong learning and self-improvement. And look at this. This isn't just a biography, right? It's his own personal roadmap for how to live a good life. It all starts at 15, when he says he just bent his mind on learning. By 30, he felt solid, like he was standing on firm ground. By 40, no more doubts. And it just keeps building until he gets to this amazing place at 70, where what he wants to do is the exact same as what he should do. It's an incredible picture of a life built with purpose.
Okay, so if that's the goal, where do you even start? Where does this whole journey of becoming a virtuous person begin? For Confucius, the answer was super clear. You don't start by trying to save the world. No, you start much, much closer to home.
And this is the absolute key. He talks about the root, filial piety. That's respect for your parents. And fraternal submission, respect for your siblings. These aren't just nice family values. For Confucius, this is the very soil from which everything else, loyalty, kindness, justice, all of it grows.
What's really cool is how Confucius taught. It was all through conversation, and you can see him layering his ideas. So when one student asks him what this filial piety thing is, he gives the simplest, most direct answer possible. It starts with not being disobedient. Okay, simple enough, good starting point.
But then another student asks, and he takes it a step deeper. He says, parents are anxious lest their children should be sick. And suddenly, it's not just about obedience anymore, is it? It's about empathy. It's about understanding that constant, low-level anxiety your parents have for your well-being, recognizing that deep, protective love.
And then, with a third student, he brings it all home. This is the big one. He basically says, look, today people think being a good son or daughter just means making sure your parents have food and a roof over their head. But then he says, even dogs and horses can do that. There has to be something more, something that makes us human.
And here is that distinction. It's the difference between just providing support and showing true reverence. It's not about the what, it's about the how. It's the attitude, the deep respect, the honor you show them. That, Confucius says, is what makes it a uniquely human virtue. It elevates a simple duty into a profound act of goodness. So once you have that root firmly planted in family respect, you can start building upwards, towards the ideal individual. In Confucianism, this ideal is called the Junzi. You can translate it as the superior person or gentleman. This is the person we're all aiming to become through all this self-cultivation.
So what does a Junzi actually look like? Well, when you look at these qualities, a really clear picture starts to form. This person is driven by virtue, not just by what's comfortable. They're open-minded and see the big picture. That's what he means by Catholic and no partisan. And crucially, their actions and their words are always in perfect sync. It's a constant practice, not a performance, and the result is this deep, unshakable inner peace.
And a great way to understand an idea is to look at its opposite, right? Confucius does exactly that by showing us the small man, and the contrast is just so sharp. The superior person cares about what's right, the small man cares about what's profitable. The superior person thinks of virtue, the small man thinks of comfort. One is open-minded, the other is tribal and partisan. It's like a mirror, forcing you to ask yourself, okay, which one is guiding my choices right now?
So how do you actually do this? How do you become that superior person? Well, Confucius gives us a practical method, spoken here by one of his disciples. It's a daily practice of self-reflection. 3 questions. In my work for others, was I trustworthy? In my interactions with friends, was I sincere? And the things I'm supposed to be learning, did I actually practice them? I mean, this is basically a 2,500-year-old guide to mindfulness and personal accountability.
All right, so we've gone from the family to the individual. Now let's zoom out even further. Because for Confucius, all this personal work has a huge public payoff. He believed that good government wasn't really about policies or procedures. It was a direct extension of the leader's own personal character.
And he uses this incredible metaphor to explain it. This is one of his most famous lines. He says, a leader who governs by virtue is like the North Star. It just stays in its place, right? And all the other stars naturally turn towards it. Think about that. The leader doesn't have to command or force anyone. Their own moral integrity acts like a gravitational force, inspiring order and harmony all around them.
And here we go with another sharp contrast. Path number 1. You can lead with laws and punishments. What happens? People will do the bare minimum to avoid getting caught. They won't have any internal moral compass, no sense of shame. Or, path number 2, you can lead by your own good example, with virtue. And if you do that, you teach people to be good from the inside out. They develop their own sense of shame and become good on their own.
He even gives us a clear step-by-step guide. Step 1. Govern with seriousness and dignity, and people will respect you. Step 2. Be a good family member and be kind, and people will be loyal. Step 3. Promote the talented people and help those who are struggling, and you create a culture where everyone is inspired to improve themselves. It is a timeless lesson in leadership.
So after 2,500 years, what's the core message here for us right now? It boils down to something that's surprisingly simple, but also profoundly challenging.
This is it. This is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. Change doesn't come from new laws or governments forcing it on people. It comes from each of us, individually, taking on the personal responsibility to cultivate our own character, to be better in our families, and to act with integrity in our communities. A better world is built from the inside out.
And the ultimate goal of all this work is a quality called Ren. It's one of the most important ideas in Confucianism. It's the pinnacle of virtue, a deep, genuine humaneness and goodness towards others. It's what happens when all your inner self-cultivation just naturally overflows into a sincere and effortless care for everyone around you.
And we'll end with this final challenging thought. Confucius tells us, don't worry about whether people recognize you, whether you have fame or status. The real tragedy, the real problem, is to go through life without truly understanding the people around you. It's this powerful call to shift our focus away from external validation and toward internal understanding and empathy. Now that is a recipe for the good life that is just as potent today as it was thousands of years ago.